welcome to MeowMix, the Carolina Panthers podcast. My name is Steven,
My name is Jerry.
and we are here to recap the heartbreaking loss the Carolina Panthers just suffered against the Atlanta Falcons, 37-34 in overtime. This game was up and down, as were the Panthers. PJ Walker, especially most of the game, just no consistency, but it was a very exciting fourth quarter and overtime. Panthers had an opportunity to win it multiple times and just came up short. Jerry, I know you have a lot to say, so go ahead.
I mean, Panero, you've been so good, and then you missed the extra point, which, yes, it was pushed back, and then C.J. Henderson comes up with a big interception, goes all the way down to the 20, gives up another easy field goal, and he shanks it.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. Come on.
Yeah. I mean, let's not give DJ Moore a pass here. He catches the massive touchdown. The only reason we're even in the game is because he gets behind the defense. PJ Walker makes a perfect throw, and
perfect throw.
DJ gets the score, and then just completely boneheaded, takes his helmet off to celebrate. Everyone in the NFL, everyone watching at home knows that's a penalty. Takes his helmet off, slams it to the ground. I don't know if he thought the game was over. I don't know what he thought, but it wasn't. He just tied it up, still needed the extra point, pushes it back 15 yards. Panero misses it by just that much. A few yards closer, that's in, and that's good. But, yeah, Panero, I mean, you can't miss two. You can't miss two to win the game, and he did. He's the zero of the game, I think. I don't think it's really close.
Yeah, there's no question. I mean, he had two chances to win this game. Neither were 55-something long-yard field goals that you could say, hey, I get that. I mean, these are gimmies. This is why you got cut.
They were pressure, though. They were very pressure.
They were pressure, and that's why he's only kicked two in his career, because obviously he stinks under pressure. And
there's a reason why he was just floating out there.
Yeah.
To be had. He's a very accurate kicker, but when it comes to pressure situations, that's where it separates the great kickers from the average kickers, and he's an average kicker, unfortunately. But man, what a game! We haven't seen a game like this. It seems like in years. What's your face doing? What's wrong?
Sorry, I got a low system quality issue here.
Okay.
I keep going. I'm sorry. Yeah, you're right. I mean,
technical issues today.
I don't know why either. This was just such great performances by Deontay Foreman, by DJ Moore. I mean, Terrace Marshall got into this.
Yeah.
And then it was but then there were some huge boneheaded plays. In overtime, the missed tackles by Shaq Thompson gave them a first down. A missed tackle by Brian Burns on a third down that could have basically give the offense back. Instead, Mariota gets in a field goal range, and Koo doesn't choke like Panero. I mean, that's what ended this game. I mean, the defense gave up 20 points in that second half. They only gave up 7 in the first half because of PJ Walker. PJ Walker picked 6 right before half. I mean, It was a great defensive play, but at the same time,
it was.
Why so many dang screens? I counted like 10 screens at one time. I was like, come on. You trust this guy to start. You're going to have to let him not throw so many screens. Just so frustrating. I get doing that at the beginning, get him in a rhythm. But it didn't matter because his rhythm is just up and down all the time.
He doesn't have a rhythm. He's
exactly.
Extremely inconsistent. He looked good last week. And he looked really good at times this week.
Yeah.
I saw just Patrick Mahomes just tweeted that PJ to DJ touchdown was the throw of the year by far.
That was. I mean, he dropped it perfectly. DJ got behind the defense on a prevent defense. That's a spectacular play.
It was a 67 air yard complete, touchdown, which is the highest since 2016 in the NFL. I mean, that's saying something. Like, PJ, he can make all the throws. He's just not consistent. He's just not consistent enough, and he's never going to be a starting caliber quarterback in the NFL until or unless he becomes more consistent. But let's you want to look through some of the key plays here in this game, Jerry?
Sure, let's go ahead and knock this one out. Well, some we've already touched on, but yeah.
Yeah, we're going to go ahead and start kind of towards the end of the first half. Jerry sort of mentioned it. PJ Walker pass short intended another screen pass for Deontay Foreman, intercepted by Carter on the Falcons, who takes it all the way back for a touchdown. Yeah, I mean, I think we can blame PJ for a poor pass. He gets that a little higher in the air and gets it over the defender or even to the side of the defender. It's a completion, but that was a really good defensive play. I mean, that very athletic play.
It was. But again, I mean, come on.
I don't know. You want to blame play calling? You want to blame PJ? I don't know.
I mean, the play calling to a certain extent because of the simple fact that we did so many screens at this point. I mean, Atlanta knew. I knew we were going to do so many screens, especially late in the half like that. We're obviously not trusting DJ or we're not trusting PJ Walker. Not unless it's 20 seconds left on the clock. But
so second key play here, we're going to go all the way to the end of the game. The end of the fourth quarter. And
12,
we've got
12 seconds in the fourth quarter, 1st and 10, Carolina 38. PJ Walker pass deep left, DJ Moore, 62 yards, touchdown, and then the penalty. I mean, that pass was, oh, man. DJ and PJ just on that play was spectacular.
Yeah, and the Falcons, I mean, they called it out on the broadcast. You just can't let a guy get behind you. And it's not like DJ was burning down the field either, like outrunning everybody. DJ had slowed down and was sort of at a jog until PJ threw the ball, and then he sort of sped up. But by that time, he was already pretty much behind the defense.
Yeah.
Just a weird confluence of events that occurred there to get that touchdown. But great pass by PJ, great catch by DJ, and then he takes his helmet off, pushes us back 15 yards, and unfortunately missed the field goal or the PAT. So we move into overtime, and the Falcons get the ball first. We're bummed.
Yeah.
But Mariota chunks it down the field, 2nd and 10 at the Atlanta 27. Mariota chunks it down the field to Damiere Byrd, who apparently was just a revelation to people watching this game. I don't know. We've seen Damiere Byrd before, but people were just going crazy over him. Intercepted by C.J. Henderson. Really nice play by the defensive line to, I think it was Ioannidis, to get
Ioannidis got on
Mariota. He kind of floats it up there. C.J. Henderson grabs it, carries it, or brings it all the way back to the Carolina 26. Actually, the 20. Excuse me, the Atlanta 20. We're right into field goal range. We're there.
Yeah, and that should have been also offensive pass interference. I don't know if you noticed that, but
I did, but I didn't think it rose to the level of offensive pass interference.
Because
either way, CJ got the ball. So
yeah, CJ got it down to the 20. I mean, come on.
What do you think about the play calling here? 3 straight runs. I mean, obviously they're setting themselves up for the field goal. Would you have liked to seen them at least try to throw it once?
I would have. I understood the plan. Pinero's been solid all year, and you give him that comfort. But I also don't understand why you don't line it up for him. Straight down the pipes instead of saying, on that 3rd down, that should have been a play. Get it straight down the pipes and go down for him. If you're not getting that 1st down up that middle in the pipes, you go down. Down, get Pinero.
Kickers maybe like it on the left or right hash mark. I don't know what Pinero likes.
You're right, but typically I've seen this more than once where they just go down straight on the middle so that their kicker it's an easier shot. Typically, you're right. Sometimes they do like to hook it left or right, but
yeah, it just depends. It really depends on what the kicker likes. But either way, it doesn't matter if he was in the middle of the pipes, he's on the left or right. That's a 33-yard kick. That's an extra point. That's the extra point he should have had.
Yeah.
On the Hail Mary throw, and just missed it. Just a bad kick.
Bad kick. I mean, so many chances to win this game.
Yep.
But the Panthers decide to give it away.
Yeah. So our last key play here is just going to be the field goal winning it. I mean, I guess you could look at the Mariota run. 30-yard run, third and 1 at the 46.
And Burns had him.
Yeah. I mean, that's probably a bigger play. I mean, obviously the field goal is the biggest play because it wins the game for him. But setting up that field goal, that's what Mariota did. And Younghoe Koo hits a 41-yarder thing that Pinero couldn't do twice
Yeah.
within 41 yards, and unfortunately, that's your ball game. So the Falcons now moved to 4-4, are now 2 games up over the Panthers in first place, sole possession of first place in the NFC South at 4-4 for the Falcons. So, I mean, it was an exciting game, Jerry, and honestly, this post-rule era has been, outside of the first game that the
Yeah.
Panthers played with Wilkes. It's been exciting. It's been fun to watch. It's been heartbreaking this game, but really exhilarating the last game against the Bucks. So at least I feel like the team now, we sort of have an identity, right? We like to run the ball. We'll take shots every once in a while, but we're good at running the ball, by the way. I mean, we haven't missed CMC. We really haven't.
No, we haven't. Deontay Foreman, revelation. They mentioned that he got cut in Atlanta last year before the season. So I personally feel like we need to re-sign him in the offseason. He's probably going to be one of the keys. I wasn't sad not to see Chuba. Yes, I would have liked to see him over Spencer Brown. I mean, no offense, Spencer Brown, but Chuba's more talented.
Yeah.
But
what did you feel about having Spencer Brown out there? Gosh, when was it?
Blackshear?
Well, it was towards the end I guess it was in the fourth quarter, towards the end of the game. You had Spencer Brown out there trying to block for PJ, and he just completely whiffs. I was wondering why they didn't have Deontay Foreman out there.
I'm assuming he was tired. I mean, he was getting hard, tough yards. I mean, and those weren't like easy or like outside runs, and then he just ran out of bounds. Those were all up the middle, getting constantly bound. He deserved his ice bath today. I'll put it that way.
Well, hey, I'm telling you, man, like, I think our running game I would be really curious to see how CMC would have looked these last 2 games with this focus on running the ball, focus on screen passes, that type of thing. I think CMC probably would be averaging like 200 yards a game. But honestly, the Deontay Foreman and then Chuba last week, they've looked good. I agree with you. Deontay is only on a 1-year contract with us this year, making less than $1 million. He should get a nice payday next year. Although you would have said that about him in Tennessee, where he filled in so well for Henry for like half a season, and then he gets cut from Atlanta like the next year. Like, I don't get it, but I like him, and they were just fawning all over him on the broadcast, calling him Derrick Henry light, basically. But 3 touchdowns for him today. I mean,
he runs hard, man.
He does.
So far, the past 2 games, he has run really well and really hard. And if he continues this, even if we continue to lose, if he continues to run hard, he deserves another contract here. I mean, obviously, don't back up the Brinks truck, but
no, and I don't think I think you're more looking like a $3-4 million deal for him per year. He's 26. He's still pretty young.
Yeah, I mean,
I'd be happy to sign him instead of like drafting a running back or something.
I would too. Maybe sign him, try to get him like a 3-year, $12 million contract, something like that, where after 2 years he can get out of it. Or
just let him
probably
come in as our starting back next year.
Yeah.
Let Chuba back him up. I think that's a solid RB duo, honestly.
I do too.
Terrace Marshall Jr. sort of had a coming out party today.
Yeah.
9 targets for him today. Ended up with 4 catches, 87 yards. And he had a nice fourth quarter catch to sort of set up that Hail Mary to DJ. So good to see he's sort of starting to get comfortable, and unfortunately, like I said, 9 targets, only 4 catches. There's still some meat on the bone there, but certainly an improvement over what we've seen from him in his first year and a half.
I don't know if I remember any drops from him, though. I'm wondering if those were just some of PJ's missed targets, which he had quite a few of them.
Could be. That's what I'm saying. Like, it feels like there's some. Not necessarily blaming Terrace Marshall for that. Just that there were more opportunities that they didn't connect on. Any other kind of just. I mean, gosh. We down 8 points were we down 8 in the fourth quarter? I think we were. To come back and to come this close to being in first place. I mean, I know it would have been at 3-5, but to be in first place in the NFC South,
it would have felt good.
Man, it would have felt good.
I just want to say, I know we're still going to be cheering for the top one of the top picks in the draft. I mean, look at this team with a good quarterback. I hate saying that to PJ Walker as he left everything on the field. But again, we're talking about so many missed targets, especially in that first quarter and first half.
Yeah.
Just if you could get a solid quarterback on this roster, I think there's potential here.
I mean, there's a reason that PJ Walker was the odd man out coming into the season.
Oh, I agree.
He's been better than Baker for sure. I wonder how much of that is the kind of offensive philosophy changing after Matt Rule versus PJ just being better than Baker. I'd like to see Baker in this offense, this kind of new reinvigorated philosophy changed offense. I'd like to see what he can do in it. I don't know that he's, I don't know that he would have been better than PJ today, though, honestly. I mean, PJ was up and down, but Baker's been up and down all season.
I'm going to give you guys a little sneak peek. I don't think Baker's going to be starting again.
There are reasons that Baker shouldn't start.
Yeah, and I think
one of them being a draft pick compensation.
And I'm almost certain that this loss here prevents him from starting. Because right now we are now down 2 games, almost 3 games to the Atlanta Falcons in this division. And we have Cincinnati coming up next week. So depending on that outcome, they may not want to risk losing higher draft pick for Baker Mayfield in a losing effort.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at it this way, we're not even halfway through the season. We're 2 games back. We play Atlanta, in 11 days. We play them again. If we beat them there, then that's a full game that we move back up. We also go to 3-1 in the division at that point, right? I mean, who knows? By then, if we surprise everyone and beat the Bengals, and I mean, we could be sitting at 4-6, potentially in the same damn spot next week, in a couple of weeks. So I don't know, man. I'm gonna keep rooting for us to win. I'm not thinking about the draft picks right now.
I'm not either. I just see them. I see them going Sam Darnold over Baker because Baker looks so rough.
That's a bad idea. Honestly.
I don't either. I don't.
God. I don't know. I mean, I say just start PJ the rest of the year because I don't think there's much of a difference between the 3 of them, really.
I don't either.
And I think PJ's got. I wish they would let PJ run more. He's got that component that they just don't take advantage of.
And I felt like there was really some opportunity this week with how well Foreman was running to run some of that read option because they were biting on Foreman, rightfully so.
Yeah.
I mean, to get him on the edge outside, and he could slide. I mean, PJ's a smart quarterback. I mean, he's too inconsistent.
He had a big 3rd down run there towards the end of the game that got nullified by a penalty. By the way, penalties, man, so many penalties for the Panthers in this game. And it felt like they all came at the worst times.
Okay, let's go ahead and look at some stats here and go ahead and start with those penalties because that was insane. And the worst part is I couldn't even blame the refs because I saw all the penalties.
Yes.
Like, they were legitimate penalties. Oh, why can't I find the penalties on here?
9 for 74. 9 penalties for 74. It felt like a lot more. And there were some offsetting penalties, so it was really closer to like 10 or 11. But yeah, of course, the 15-yarder from DJ was a terrible one. But I think every single offensive lineman had at least 1 penalty in this game.
Yeah.
I heard their name. I heard every single one of their names on a penalty.
Brady Christensen a couple times.
Yeah,
I heard his name.
They all had penalties, all the offensive linemen. So, DBO, don't beat ourselves. That was one of Matt Rule's big things. I feel like in this game we may have beaten ourselves. This is a game
absolutely.
The Panthers should have won.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
First downs we had 23. They had 21. Total yards we beat them in total yards. We had beat them in the turnovers. I mean,
5 for 13 on 3rd downs. That's a massive improvement for us over the, first 7-8 weeks of the season. 478 total yards. I mean that's a lot of good things to take away from this game. A lot of good things.
PJ Walker, 19 of 36, 317 yards, 1 touchdown, that killer interception. And that's a big thing, is that 1 turnover turned into 7 points. Their 2 turnovers turned into 0.
Yep.
We didn't capitalize on.
Yep. Yeah, and we should have capitalized on the last one at least.
Yep. Deontay Foreman, 26 carries, 118 yards, 3 touchdowns. He tore it up on my bench this week. Spencer Brown, 6 carries, 27 yards. He actually averaged 4.5 yards.
And Spencer Brown looked okay running the ball. I thought he looked terrible trying to block, but I thought he looked pretty good running the ball.
Yeah. PJ Walker, 1 for 20. That was late. Nothing spectacular.
Well, that was at the end of the first half where he just basically took off and slid.
Yeah.
Instead of, I thought they could have tried to do something to get into field goal range, but that was what he chose to do. So whatever.
Yeah. Blackshear, 2 rushes, 1 yard. Kind of surprised we didn't see more of him. He has that track speed, and especially, I would prefer to see him a little bit more than Spencer Brown.
Yeah, I agree. Especially in the passing game, I thought that they could have used him some in the passing game.
They like screens. I'm sure he could catch a screen.
Exactly.
DJ Moore, 6 receptions, 152 yards, 1 touchdown. Probably the play of the year was that one.
Certainly for us, yeah.
Yeah.
Certainly for us. It's nice to see DJ finally get unlocked in this game. Even before that 62-yard pass, I felt like he was used pretty well.
Yeah, he already had 90-something yards. PJ Walker loves him.
He did drop the big one.
Yeah.
I guess it was in the fourth quarter.
It was. Because that was with...
Pretty much everything in this game happened in the fourth quarter or overtime. Yeah, he dropped a big one right over the middle. Great pass by PJ. It may have been tipped a little bit by the defender. It was hard to see. They didn't really show that many replays of it. And if it was tipped by the defender, then I might give DJ a little bit of a pass for that. But he certainly thought he should have caught it.
Yeah, and most receivers feel like, especially, and I agree. You have your hands on it, it hits you in the chest, you should catch it. Yeah. Stephen Sullivan, 1 catch, 33 yards, 2 targets. Kind of want to continue to see more of Stephen Sullivan.
Yeah.
He had some speed. He had some solid hands. Let's see it.
Yeah. You skipped over Marshall, 4 for 87.
Oh, because we already talked about him.
I mentioned him earlier, but yeah, he had a 39-yard catch. I thought he looked pretty good in this game.
Yeah. He also didn't go out of bounds. He looked like he wanted to fight for more yards while being smart fighting for the ball. Not like the DJ Moore rookie season. He always fought for more yards.
And fumbled.
Hanging the ball out. Yeah. Laviska Shenault, 5 receptions, 26 yards, targeted 6 times. And all those were basically...
I was going to say, I'm pretty sure all of them were targets behind the line of scrimmage.
That one miss was a first pretty deep pass, but he couldn't keep both feet in. Let him run some routes, guys, or put him in the backfield some.
He's a good talent. You should do something with him.
Yeah. Tommy Tremble, 2 for 17 and 4 targets. Nothing spectacular, but okay. Ian Thomas, 1 for 2. At this point, I'm glad it seems like we're starting to feed more towards the Tommy Tremble and Stephen Sullivan. Ian Thomas has had his chance this year, and he hasn't performed.
Yeah, 6 targets between the other 2, and then Ian Thomas only with 1 target. I'm fine not seeing Ian Thomas anymore, honestly.
Yeah. Deontay Foreman, only 1 target. Surprised they didn't try to use him or the other running backs more in the screen game.
Again, 1 target for him, 1 target for Spencer Brown, no targets for Blackshear. That feels like an improvement that can be made because you're telling other teams not to have to worry about the running backs in the
passing game
out of the backfield, right? So,
and we're not just talking about screens. We're talking about actual Texas routes, actual out routes, actual little dump off passes.
Yeah. Even check downs. He's not even utilizing them for that. So, and again, I don't know if that's play calling. I don't know if that's just PJ. I have no idea, but something I think they need to fix that.
Now let's look on the other side of the ball. Shaq Thompson, 13 tackles, 1 tackle for loss. Good solid game. He
had a good game.
He missed a couple tackles, but I didn't really see anything that really horrible or anything. Derek Brown continues his reign of terror this year. 12 tackles, half a sack, 1 tackle for loss, and a QB hit.
Yep.
Miles Hartsfield, I guess they targeted him. 7 tackles, 1 tackle for loss. Brian Burns, 7 tackles, 2 QB hits, no sacks. I felt like he played a pretty good game, especially against the run. But he did it.
He was getting. It's like Brian Burns. He's always getting close, and he just doesn't close the deal. You know.
Yeah. Etor, another player I thought had a really good game, especially considering we haven't seen much of him. 6 tackles, half sack, and 2 QB hits.
Mm-hmm.
Xavier Woods, 5 tackles. That's it. Laid some lumber on one of the receivers and went out with an injury. Frankie Louvu, another revelation this year, but 5 tackles, 1 sack, 2 tackles for loss, and another QB hit.
Yeah, thought he had a really good game.
Yeah. Matt Ioannidis, another solid game. 4 tackles, 1 QB hit, and that was that interception by C.J. Henderson. Dante Jackson, 4 tackles. He played his probably best game I've seen with that interception.
Yeah, the first play of the game, or first defensive big play of the game, I guess. Big interception from him. One-handed catch, really nice play. But then he got hurt, so I don't know what his status is going to be moving forward.
He's a guy that just can't stay healthy. The rest of the guys, I'm not really going to go over it, but I am surprised to see Amari Barno. I didn't see him out there, but I guess he got 2 tackles.
Yeah, a couple of tackles for him. Hang on one sec. My buddy Chase here wants to tell us what he thought about the game. Go ahead and give your analysis.
Well, they did have a very good game, but the Panthers lost. They had like 3 chances, still didn't get the field goal though.
Yep.
And the Falcons won.
Falcons won. That's right.
But there is another. Next weekend they'll be back to get a rematch. I'm sure.
Yeah, they're gonna play him again in about 11 days.
Okay.
Are you excited to watch that one?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Because I said the Panthers want their rematch.
They do want their rematch. Yeah.
And Chase will want to stay up late for it.
Yeah, that's gonna be a night game. You can watch that one at night with me. And the Panthers are gonna have really cool black helmets in that game.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, but they still showed us an impressive performance.
They did have an impressive performance. This was the most fun game of the season, I think.
Yeah, I think they did a really good run this season, actually.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you.
There's still some more stuff at the Panthers can do a game on.
Yep. All right. Well, let's let Logan come here in for a second. Logan, would you like to say anything to the people? This is my other son, Logan. He's a little younger.
Where's the Panther?
Where is the Panther? Good. Yep. They lost.
Oh, yeah.
They lost. Yeah.
Yes, they lost. I think Logan did a good job on this.
You think?
Now.
Yeah, Logan did do a good job. All right, boys.
All right.
Let's finish it up.
Yeah, I mean, let me finish it up.
All right. So again, C.J. Henderson had no tackles, 2 pass defended. I think this was probably one of C.J. Henderson's better games, and he also had that pick.
But he did blow the Mere Bird touchdown. That was
him.
Henderson was on coverage there, and he just unfortunately wasn't able to get it.
He always does that. Okay. So my new theory on C.J. Henderson, I look at him now from now on is not a top 10 pick. We traded a 3rd round pick for him, so I'm looking at him as a 3rd round pick, and I still think he's good because of that.
Okay. Well,
now,
hey, we didn't draft him in the 1st round.
Exactly. We gave up a 3rd, so that's why I'm viewing it as that. And Keith Taylor, 1 tackle, 2 pass defended.
Keith Taylor had a good game.
I did too. So
didn't hear much from JC in this game. I assume that's just because they weren't targeting him.
Yeah, he had 2 tackles.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see what his targets look like, his PFF score, all that stuff.
Yeah.
All right, let's look at the Falcons here. We had Marcus Mariota, 20 of 28, 253 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. They threw the ball more than I expected, and he looked pretty good. But, Is he better than PJ? I mean, I don't know.
Well, first of all, I don't understand this 3rd and 5 and we're playing 10 yards off their receivers. We kept doing that, and I was like, guys. And then the next play on 1st down, we're all up on the line. I'm like, guys, come on.
Well, they're just throwing them different looks, you know.
Yeah, but you'd want to jam the receivers on a 3rd and 5. You don't want to give them that.
The Falcons are just they run the ball so much. I mean, they ran the ball 37 times in this game. In a game where it was a shootout, essentially, they're still running the ball way more than they passed. I don't know. I don't know if the defense. Obviously, the defense wasn't good. Gave up 34 points, 28 points on defense, but I don't know. I mean, I thought it was okay. Caleb Huntley led the team in rushing, kind of surprisingly. 16 carries, 91 yards. Allgeier, 14 for 39. He did not look good running the ball. And then Mariota, 6 for 43.
And most of that was on that one play?
Yeah, the 30-yarder towards the end. Kyle Pitts broke out in a big way. 5 receptions, 80 yards, 1 touchdown. Another guy that Jerry had on his bench today. Demir Bird just drove the announcers insane with his plays. 3 catches for 67 yards and a touchdown. Of course, he had the big 47-yard touchdown. Allgeier did have some good yards in the receiving game. 3 catches, 46 yards, and a touchdown. Drake London, their number 1 pick this year, 4 for 31. Zacharias, I don't know. Who cares? He had 1 catch. And then you had a few catches by some other guys that you probably don't know their names. Looking down at the defense for Atlanta, Michael Walker, 11 tackles to lead the team. They only had 1 sack. Rashaan Evans, the offensive line held up pretty well there.
Yeah.
Taquan Graham, 7 tackles. Just kind of looking down here. Grady Jarrett, 4. 2 tackles for loss for him, led the team. You had Cornell Armstrong with 3 pass defenses. That led the team for them. And then you had Lorenzo Carter with the big interception touchdown play. I mean, looking at the rest of the kind of the special teams here, we had Pinheiro for us, 2 for 3, the big miss, 2 for 3 on extra points, the big miss. Younghoe Koo, 3 for 3 and 4 for 4 on extra points. So that's your difference in the game, pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, everything else is pretty stacked up even-wise. I mean,
I think the Panthers, like in every other statistical category, won.
They did,
except for time of possession.
They did. It's just a very sad game today. I mean that.
Again, I mean, I agree with Chase. It was a fun game to watch. This is the type of game.
At least we get.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Matt Rule, this is probably a 37-14 game. Honestly.
I agree. It feels like the offense is now at least getting some clickingness. They're making plays occasionally. Even if I'm frustrated with so many screens, but at least they're clicking. They're able to move the ball. They're running the ball. Oh my gosh, how much I'm excited about being able to run it and run it effectively.
36 runs in this game.
Yeah, and it didn't feel like it was like, oh, we have to run the ball. We have to run the ball. It was more like, hey, we're running the ball to set up the pass. We're running the ball because it's, short yardage to get the first. It wasn't stupid like, 3rd and 20, run up the middle every time. It was like we're setting up 3rd and short, which improved our 3rd down efficiency this week because we are setting it up.
Yeah, it kind of feels like the team is finding itself. Unfortunately, regressing a little bit on defense, but offensively, we're kind of finding our way a little bit. There were a couple of runs that were like on 3rd and medium to longish that I thought they could have passed the ball on, and I wondered why they were running. But overall, like, I 100% agree with you. Like, they ran the ball and they gained yards, 4.7 yards a carry on 36 carries. That's really good. It was just I thought it was a good game plan offensively. And had PJ been more consistent, I think this is a runaway win, honestly.
Yeah, if PJ again, I think if this team had a solid quarterback, this game wouldn't have been that close. Because I also think what you force them to do is start passing the ball more and more aggressive, and I don't think Mariota could have done that.
Yeah.
But
that's where he makes mistakes. I mean, we saw it. All right. Well, you want to look at what's next here?
Just basically our beer bet and predictions here. You had the Carolina Panthers losing this game, and you were correct. I had them winning, so I was incorrect on that. That being said, you won the beer bet of the week with over 125 rushing yards for Atlanta. So, congratulations.
Yeah. Well, I wish I would have lost it, but yeah. I mean, like I said, I thought that we could still win the game, and they ran over 125 yards just because they run so damn much. I mean, 167 rushing yards in this game for them. Not as much as us, but still that's how they win. They run. All right. Well, next let's do our heroes and zeros. We've already set our zero. Eddie Pinheiro. I'm not changing mine. I don't think you'll change yours. But who do you have for a hero in this game?
Oh man,
I feel like there's a lot of options.
I was gonna say there's quite a few. I'm gonna go Deontay Foreman. I mean, back-to-back games looked so good. 3 touchdowns. He got those hard-fought yards that, man, it was nice to watch him run. Yeah. It really was, in my opinion.
That's a great one. I felt like you could go him. You could go C.J. Henderson. I thought just with the big play. Had we won the game, I think I probably would have gone C.J. Henderson. But I think I will go with Terrace Marshall. I've dogged him for a year and a half. I thought he finally had his breakout game. I hope we see more of him. So yeah, I'm 4 for 87. Didn't have a spectacular game, but for him, I thought this was a real good sign, and hopefully he gains some confidence from it. Hopefully the coaching staff and quarterbacks gain confidence from it, and they get him the ball more. So I'm going to go Terrace Marshall Jr.
Yeah, that's a good one. I mean, let's be honest. He's played better than Robbie Anderson would have.
Yeah.
That we've seen.
Had DJ Moore kept his helmet on, I think he's obviously a hero. And even still, 6 for 152 and a touchdown. That's incredible. So certainly an honorable mention for him. But taking the helmet off, sort of, unfortunately.
Yeah,
pulled his hero status. All right. Anything else?
I think that's going to do it for Steven.
All right.
We want to thank you for listening. If you like the show, please let your friends know. Please follow us on Twitter at MeowMix Podcast. If you have any questions or comments, you can email us at mailbag@meowmixpodcast.com. And if you leave us a 5-star review with a comment on Apple Podcasts, we'll read it on our show. Please like and subscribe on YouTube. We finally reached 1,000. We're going to do a giveaway here. We kind of forgot to mention that because the game was so good. We kind of focused in on that.
Thank you, everyone, for subscribing. We got a lot of subscriptions off our last episode. So the call to arms worked. You guys got us over the hump. We do appreciate it. But yeah, like Jerry said, this game was just so encompassing. We didn't even think to mention it. So thank you, everyone. Now let's work on those iTunes reviews. Let's get some more iTunes reviews going. And more YouTube subs. We'll take them all. But
and like I said, we'll figure out some sort of giveaway for the 1,000 sub mark. We haven't talked about it off air, but we'll figure something out.
We're gonna have a team building exercise coming up soon. We'll discuss it. All right, everyone. Well, we'll be back middle of the week to talk Panthers Bengals. Until then, everybody stay safe out there and keep pounding. Wow.